What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nasher. Welcome back to the channel. Now before we get into today's video, guys, we are 24 subs away from 200. We are drawing closer and closer to the goal of 200. Guys, we're getting there. We are getting there. And as I've said in previous videos, if this channel does get to 200 subs, I will open up this Korean Strike of Neos booster box in its entirety on the channel on the hopes to potentially pull this guy, Elemental Hero Air Neos. If this channel gets to 500 subs, I will open up this Korean LOB booster box in its entirety on the channel on the hopes to potentially pull a Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician, Red Eyes Black Dragon. The possibilities are out there. This I got from my partners over at Collector Store, so be sure to check them out. Link and address will be in the description below. By supporting them, by checking out their channel, not only does it support them, it also supports the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. However, if this channel gets to 1,000 subs, I will open up this first edition Toon Chaos box in its entirety on the channel that I also got from my partners over at Collector Store on the hopes of potentially pull my second ever Collector's Rare, which could be a Cypher Gear Gamma, could be a Stardust Dragon, it could be anything, because if you guys missed out on my Genesis Impact box opening, which I recommend you guys watch, I pulled this. A Collector's Rare Beat Cup from the Underworld. It is just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to be getting this graded at some point. I don't really know when, but I will be getting it graded at some point. But with that said, guys, if you guys want to see these boxes get opened, maybe you guys want future episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue. Maybe you guys want future episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. Deck profiles, card discussions, maybe even some WWE topic videos, or maybe you guys want some premium live event predictions and results. Well, if you guys want all of that and more, my channel is the place to be. So if you guys have not done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button on this video, and also follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which is this. Do you guys believe the Watt archetype could potentially be the new meta after Age of Overlord? Because in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the new Watt support that we are getting in Age of Overlord, and I'm going to be honest, I wasn't expecting it. Obviously, yes, I did say that I was going to talk about it here on the channel, but excuse me, when I first found out that we were going to be getting some brand new Watt support, I said to myself, why? Like, why are we getting new support for Watts? We haven't had any support for them in years, and this is the first time in years that we're actually getting the new Watt support, which I mean, to be fair, the archetype is okay, but there is like, but the deck is so slow paced. You just end up losing games anyway. So it's like, what's the point of playing the deck? But I will admit, looking at these cards, it ought to be interesting. It ought to be very interesting to say the very least. But hopefully you guys are ready, and let's get straight into it. Kicking things off, we got Watt Tuna, which is a 4-star Light Thunder tuner with 800 attack, 700 defense, and the first and third effects are both once per turn, which the first effect reads, if your monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, at the end of the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's essentially a Cyber Dragon, but a little bit different, I guess you could say. Second effect says this card can attack directly. The third effect reads, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by direct attack, you contribute it and one or more non-tuners from your hand and or face of field, and special summon a Watt Synchro from your extra deck, whose levels equal distributed monsters' total levels. And there's a note underneath that says this card is named after a yellowfin tuna, which is a nice little oceanic lesson for everybody there. So this is essentially like a Cyber Dragon effect mixed in with a Crystal Beast Amethyst Cat, because Amethyst Cat can attack directly, mixed in with the effects of Urgent Tuning, where you're able to just synchro summon even during the battle phase, which is pretty nuts. So it's not too bad of an effect, although it again as I said, the archetype is so like slow paced, it could oftentimes miss timing. So that's something. So if you guys are planning to play this deck, you guys might want to be careful with that, because you could end up losing games really easily. But next up, we've got Wataurus, I believe is how it's pronounced. I probably butchered it. Which is a level 8, which is an 8-star light thunder synchro with 1600 attack, 1700 defense, which are some pretty weak stats if you ask me for an 8-star synchro, and it requires a Watt tuner plus one or more non-tuner thunders. And the second effect is a once per turn. The first effect reads, this card can attack directly, which I believe a lot of the Watt cards, as I mentioned, what was it in last week's, in what, Friday's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue, was it? I think it was. Give me a second. I think it was this past Friday's episode. Yeah, it was actually this past Friday's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue, where I actually talked about why Konami prints new cards for bad archetypes. This is one of those bad archetypes, because as I said, the deck can oftentimes miss timing, which is a bit of a bad thing, if you will. But it is what it is. But the second effect of Wataurus reads, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by direct attack, you can shuffle one Watt tuner from your grave and a face-up non-tuner thunder you control into the deck, and special summon a Watt synchro monster from your extra deck except this card. Again, it's basically another version of Watt of Urgent Tuning, which is not bad. The only downside is that with this effect, and just like with Watt Tuna, you're basically just locked into you're only locked into Watt synchros, which I believe there's only a couple. Give me a second. Go into my Nexus account. We'll go deck. Pick a random one. We'll choose this one. And now let's see. So let's see. As far as the synchros go, the only synchros that are, yeah, there's only three. There's only three. There's Wataurus, Watt Hydra, and Watt Chimera. Chimera's effect says that it can attack the opponent. It can attack your opponent directly, and when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, place a random card from your opponent's hand on top of their deck. And I just realized I'm not wearing my piercings. I literally just realized I'm not wearing my piercings. Hang on, guys. But Watt Hydra. This card can attack your opponent directly. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent Buy a direct attack, choose one card in their deck, and remove it from play. Add that card to your hand during... Choose one card from in your deck, remove it from play, add that card during... Okay, so it basically... So, what Hydra is basically a... is basically a really bad, like, Gold Sark, which is kind of stupid, but... It is what it is, but those are the only 3 Watts synchros that you can go into. But unfortunately, you're only locked into either Hydra or Chimera, which they're both okay. The problem, as I purposely... There we go. The only problem, again, the deck isn't too bad, but as long as you have follow-up plays, you're pretty much okay. But the Watt deck usually does not have it. There's a note underneath that says this card is named after Quan Kui. I probably butchered that. Shout out to all of my to all the viewers in China. If I butchered the phrasing, I apologize. But it says here that it's a bull tiger-like monster from China. A bull tiger-like monster from China that is a part of 4 evil monstrosities that are wicked counterparts to the 4 holy beasts. Alright, it's a nice little history lesson right there. If you guys know about that, let me know in the comments, because I honestly don't, unfortunately, but still not bad of an effect. But it's gonna end up probably miss timing because of the fact that your opponent can easily activate Ash Blossom like right off the bat, or if they were running a mirror match, or if you're playing a mirror match, that's a bad thing because Ghost Reaper can be quite the factor, if you will. But next up, we've got Watt Kingdom. Oh, this is actually the last one. Okay, so there's... Okay, I didn't realize how bad this was. So, that was the last one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick another one. And I'm going to select... Actually, do I want to select another one? Let's see. Let's see about this one. Okay, so I'm gonna do the new Watt support and the new Ogdoadic support, because those are like the 2 bad archetypes. So we have 1 more card for Watts and 2 cards for the somewhat new Ogdoadic archetype. So the last Watt card is Watt Kingdom, which is a continuous spell, and the second effect is a once per turn, which the first effect reads, your opponent cannot activate the effect of any of their monsters in the same column as this card, and or one of your Watt monsters that activate when they are normal or special summoned. Okay, I mean it's sort of a disruption, which is not bad. The second effect reads, you can target 1 Watt monster you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Thunders, and special summon a Watt monster with a different name from your deck. Then you lose life points equal to the summon monster's attack. I mean, it's not bad, but again, if you have follow-up plays, then you're pretty much just good to go. But if you have no follow-up plays at all, you just end up losing the duel, which is not something you want, unfortunately. But now we move into the brand new Ogdoadic support, and the first up is Neferibus, the Ogdoadic Overlord, which is a 10-star Dark Reptile with 2200 attack, 3,100 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. There we go. In which the first effect reads, if a monster is sent from either player's hand or deck to the grave while this card is in the grave, you can special summon this monster, but you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except reptiles. If this card is if this card is special summoned from the grave, you can target a monster in your grave except this card special summon it. So basically, this is basically Cyber Dragon with a Monster Reborn effect, which is pretty good. I mean, this basically gives you a follow-up play, especially if your opponent activated like a card like say Pot of Desires, and you activate you activate a card like say Ash Blossom. You pitch Ash Blossom for her effect. This card's effect triggers, and you special summon it, and you basically have a 2,200 beat stick on board. Or if you wanted to go for the defense, you basically have a 3,100 ass on board. Which 3,100 defense, that's a big ass. That is a big ass. Which is, again, that's something that could become a factor, especially if you're about to lose the duel. Yeah, there's a note underneath that says Nefertum is a lotus flower at the creation of the world who had arisen from the primal waters and is basically the first thing to exist in creation according to Egyptian mythology. Okay, nice little history lesson there. That's pretty cool. And now the last card to talk about in today's video, we have Ogdoadic, Dawn of Creation, which is a quick play spell. And both of its effects are once per turn, which the first effect reads, tribute one reptile monster you control for every 2 levels that monster had. Special summon up to 1 Ogdoadic token, which is a 2-star dark reptile, 0 attack and defense. So basically what you do is if you tribute off, let's say you want to go into a link play, like say IP Masquerena, and you just want to go from there. You would go the way, so in my opinion, the way it would go would be this. Your opponent activates Pot of Desires. You activate Ash Blossom. Send it from your hand to your grave to trigger her effect. Nefarious effect would trigger. You special summon it in defense, and then once that chain resolves, your opponent would have no choice but to activate a card like say I'll say Raigeki. Let's just say that, right? As a random example. You can actually chain, I believe the ruling, because obviously this is a new card, but the ruling is that you can actually chain this card over the Raigeki. Or actually, no, you couldn't. Actually, no, you couldn't, because of the fact that Raigeki would just destroy the monsters anyway. So your opponent would activate, let's say, a card. Let's say your opponent activates a card that attempts to prevent, I guess, lock you out of your deck. Let's say that you chain Ogdoadic, Dawn of Creation, and you trigger the first effect, which obviously you would target. Obviously, you would tribute Nefarious, which is a 10-star. That basically gives you 5 Ogdoadic tokens. 5 tokens, in which you can link 2 of them off into an IP Masquerena. Then you would take the other 3, And I would say take one of them and link it off into a Link Karibo, but Link Karibo only requires, I think, requires 1-star monsters, unfortunately. So you can turn it into any other Link monster you want, and then when their turn comes, you can link off the IP, the other Link monster, plus your other token, and link them off into an Unchained Abomination, which that right there is just absolutely nuts. It's pretty insane. Pretty insane play right there. But is it possible? Yeah, it's possible, but the deck just sucks. The deck is no. A lot of people were thought that the deck was great, but once we got the set, what was it, Ancient Guardians? People realized the only card in that set that's valuable is Snake Rain, which was the first of its kind reprint, because I don't think it ever got reprinted ever. Like, since its release, I think, what was it, Force of the Breaker, if I remember right? But yeah, that's pretty crazy. Again, is that play viable? Yes, but it would have to take a lot of setup. The second effect of Dawn of Creation reads, you can banish this card from your grave during the main phase, and if you do, you can target one of your banished reptiles, shuffle that monster into the deck, and then send a reptile from your deck to your graveyard. So, basically, it's a way to... excuse me. Basically, it's a way to ensure that you don't deck out, which is okay. It's okay, I'll admit. There's a note underneath that says this card's name is a play on Dawn, Raime, and Creation, Kaibyaku, except Meikai, Ogdoadic, is inserted in the middle. Okay, so... Oh, okay. It's basically a nice little, like, I guess a little, like, Japanese, like, kanji lesson, I guess you could say. So, that's pretty cool. But, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. I know this was a bit of an odd one, but now we know we've got new Watt support, new Ogdoadic support, two of the worst archetypes in the game. What can you do? What can you do? But guys, that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more card discussions in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.